try another place. Fresh start.
Well, Larry will be here. Mary too.
You could always visit. Hey, you got close friends here?
Not too many. Not too close.
Move to Norfolk. You can work in my bar.
I don't know anything about working in bars, so.
Trust me, you don't need to know much.
Well, your bar doesn't seem that busy.
No, it ain't. But that's my fault, see? I let it go. We just need some new blood, you know? We can get the grill part going again, boy. I need a partner.
A partner?
Yeah. The bar'd be half yours. Then when I bite it, it'd be all yours.
Sal, you don't owe me anything.
No. Hey, this has nothing to do with, paying back a debt. Trust me. I really do need a partner. You stay with me for a while. Then you'd have to get your own place, because I like to pursue the ladies, if you know what I mean. And quite frankly, no offense, but you cramp my style, Doc. You thinking about it?
I am. I'm picturing it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Might be time for a new BCD in your life, huh?
Better career decision.
There you go. If nothing else, I guarantee it, we'd have some fun. What's wrong with that?
Have we heard from Henri? Miss Martle said he didn't go home last night.
If I may, I have seen something similar in my former regiment. Extreme behavior, out of character. There's the euphoria of getting home, and then one realizes memories, feelings simply have no place in day-to-day life.
What about a period of leave? Time to reflect away from the pressures of work?
Perhaps. Sometimes making a chap feel useless, worst thing you can do.
I can't just close the door on him. Henri is my closest friend. I'll find a role where he's right beside me, where I can look out for him.
You did all this for me.
And so that is the term that we now use for people who inflict psychological abuse on another person in order to try to gain control over them and make them think that they're crazy. And as I said, it's especially a favorite tactic of covert narcissists because it's a really under the radar type of abuse. It's not overt abuse. It's not physical abuse. It's not it's not outwardly calling someone a horrible name. It's not calling them stupid. It's much more subtle. It's much more lethal in a lot of ways, much more toxic, very, very stealth and insidious. And because it's so stealth, because it's so toxic, because it's so insidious, it can actually cause the victim to start feeling anxiety, depression. You do start feeling like you're going insane. It invokes feelings of self-esteem problems, worthlessness. It's a really, you really feel traumatized. It literally sucks the life out of you. I mean, you've heard narcissists be referred to as energy vampires. They literally drain the life out of you. And, it can cause forms of PTSD. It is a trauma, and it can be very difficult to get over if you've been subjected to it for years at a time. So one form of gaslighting is lying, and how it will look is they'll lie. If you ask them if they did something, they'll lie and say that they did it, And then when you catch them saying that they didn't, or finding out that they didn't do what they said they were going to do, then they manipulate it in some way so that you confuse the conversation, or so that it didn't happen the way you thought it was, or something like that. So they just out and out lie about it, and then when you catch them in the lie, they go to manipulate the truth about it. So how that might look in a divorce is that they said that they were going to deposit money in a certain bank account. So you go and you keep checking the bank account because they said they took care of it, and you will keep not seeing the money in the bank account. And so days go by and you say, you said that you put the money in the bank account, it's not there. Well, then they come back and they'll say, oh, I never said that I was going to put the money in the bank account. What I said was that I was going to pay the bills. And you say, no, I have this email that says, I asked you if you put the money in the bank account and you said you took care of it. And then they say, well, what I meant was that I would take care of the bills, that I'll just pay them directly. And so you misunderstood what I was going to say. And then, of course, they don't even pay the bills directly. So, it's this game that goes on with you where you're just, on constant pins and needles, wondering what's going on. And it's their way of maintaining control over you and also making you think that you're crazy. So another form of this charming thing is manipulation. And so how this looks is that you think that you had a conversation about something, and how it, how maybe it's about scheduling, or maybe you decided that you weren't going to do something on a particular weekend, or maybe you decided that you were going to do something together, and suddenly that's changed, and they've manipulated how that was going to look as well. So how that might look in a divorce or a breakup situation is that they'll come to you and they'll say, here are 3 choices for how we can settle and resolve our differences and our issues. And you say, okay, I use our co-parenting app for all conversations around changing the schedule for all of your communications for the child, okay? Let's say you call them out on something in the middle of a conversation, you were irresponsible. Well, they'll turn around and they'll say, I don't like your tone. They want to make your life as miserable as possible. I mean, they want to settle, they want to get as much as they possibly can. They do want to win, but they want to win in a way that is a manipulation win. It's not like a reasonable person conversation. Okay, and then the third thing is deflecting or blame shifting. And how this looks is that if you call them out on their behavior and you say, aha, like this is definitely something that you didn't do. You said you were going to send this email on this day and you didn't do it. Well, then they deflect, they blame shift, or let's say you call them out on something in the middle of a conversation, you were irresponsible. Well, they'll turn around and they'll say, I don't like your tone. I don't like the way you said that. Or you're always irresponsible because blah, blah, blah. So they deflect and blame shift. So in a divorce, it might look like this. You guys have an agreement to use a co-parenting app for all of your communications for the child, okay? So, and then out of the blue, you get a message in the co-parenting app that says, thank you so much for agreeing to change weekends with me and give me, Johnny on your parenting time next weekend. And you immediately write back and you say, as you know, we were supposed to use our co-parenting app for all conversations around changing the schedule. And you didn't ask me about this, and this conversation never took place. And then the next thing you're going to hear is, oh, really? Are you so petty that we have to use an app? Really? I mean, I guess if you're just that petty and you're that immature that you can't just have a regular conversation, that we have to use the app for everything, and suddenly it becomes your fault. If you are...
I gave you part of my company as a good gesture. You did not do the same. In fact, when we went and we agreed on doing the business account when we closed the first one, and we agreed on doing the second one after a lot of the money went missing, and we didn't know where it went, and you were the one in charge of accounting. We put that behind us. We let that go. I put it behind it, and I forgave it about it, and just said, okay, we'll just put it behind it. Okay, and then so I said, but you need to not keep moving money from one account to another account, and you need to make sure that I'm on the accounts so that if anything happens, I have access to the funds and that I can monitor them, make sure everything's happening. And you would give me the statements, you would give me the bills. I said, if you do that, then I'll agree to let you take care of everything. Okay. So you agreed on that, right? And it wasn't very long after that you slowly started to change and everything. You started to not bring me the invoices. And then you started moving money around. And then before I knew it, you changed the bank accounts. You removed me from the bank accounts. And then you removed me from your bank account. And then I called and I spoke to the
bank account.
Huh?
You were never on my bank.
Yes, I was, Henry. That was one of the agreements.
Am I on your? Don't be ridiculous. How are you on my personal checking account?
I was your bank account. And then I called and I spoke to the
bank account.
Huh?
You were never on my bank.
Yes, I was, Henry. That was one of the agreements.
Am I on your? Don't be ridiculous. How are you on my personal checking account?
My commission money.
And that's Jack. And that's me.
I've allowed $12 for our celebration supper tonight and $2 for a small breakfast in the morning. That makes our total expenses so far $172.30.
Which leaves over $300.
Beth? I was thinking, perhaps you could give me 10% as an agent's commission?
Let's make it 15%, which would be $49.54.
They told me at Methuen you were marvelous at math. Schoolgirl beats Grandmaster in Pittsburgh.
Of hazelnuts and the flint that's needed to open the lid. You need both to get a nut, but they're separated by a see-through barrier. Vulcan has the rock, but can't reach the nuts. Virgil has the nuts, but knows he can't eat them without a rock. Vulcan quickly offers the tool. He must hope Virgil is smart enough to open the lid and fair enough to cut him in on the spoils. Virgil is struggling. He doesn't have his friend's skill. And Vulcan is getting impatient. The flint is finally through the lid, but can Virgil be trusted to share the nuts? With Vulcan out of reach, it must be tempting to take the lot. Three nuts, a fair share. Vulcan and Virgil have
Following brief audio is a message left for Robert from Henry regarding the paperwork Henry needed Robert to sign concerning the formation of a new LLC meant to replace the existing one. Initially, when Henry had prepared the forms, Henry had changed the partner members' equity division from its current 50-50 to amount in Henry's favor of 51-49. Henry did not discuss or disclose this revision to Robert when Henry originally presented the forms to Robert for his signature. However, Robert did notice the equity split of 51-49 and brought it to Henry's attention, to which Henry only remarked, "It's no big deal."
I'm leaving you a new paper outside the door, so check it. It says 50-50. It's not a big deal.
It's no big deal. Don't be so sensitive. I didn't say that. It's all in your head. Has anyone ever said these things to you and made you second guess yourself?
51%. That means the person with the 51% can decide everything. Percent person feels railroaded, not involved, not respected. Over time, particularly if they felt like they were your peer, but then gave this little concession just to make the deal happen. Okay, you could have the extra 2%. It's a massive 2%. It's huge.
PM, February 19th. I'm leaving you a new paper outside the door, so check it. It says 50-50. It's not a big deal. All we have to do is
2%. It's huge. The economics of it aren't huge. The control of it can be huge. And if you've got other shareholders and things, it may not be as big, right? But if there's two of you and it's 51-49 and the decisions are made on a majority standard, it's enormous. And you run a real risk of the other side thinking, I don't have any say here, right? And they expect it to be close to your equal, and now they're as far away from it as could be. So the risk is that your partner's going to be unhappy. The risk is that you don't recognize, and I hope you do, but you might not recognize what you're doing to them and making decisions without them.
I'm leaving you a new paper outside the door, so check it. It says 50-50. It's not a big deal.
And so, she is ordering a special master to examine all of the classified documents, and her order allows Donald Trump's lawyers, none of whom have security clearances, none of whom have ever seen a classified document, to examine all of this. Judge Cannon is in effect saying she doesn't understand what's so important about keeping classified documents classified. What's the big deal?
Myers, what the hell is your deal? When were you going to tell us that?
Calm down. This was so long ago, it doesn't really count. It's gone. Expunged.
You think your record is gone? You think anything is ever gone anymore? You need to join the century, dude, and realize that your record is not just sitting in some filing cabinet somewhere. They don't just burn it. Nothing is ever gone anymore. You need to know that.
Take it easy. It's not that big a deal.
That is a big deal. I think we all should know what we're dealing with.
Well, think about it.
Well, what's to think about? It's no big deal.
I have plans. I'm not going to change my plans.
It's no big deal. Don't be so sensitive.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I love you so much. Yes, of course. Can you sit down?
You don't want to see the ring?
Oh, I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure it's beautiful. Just save it for the real proposal, okay?
The real proposal?
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow night at our New Year's Eve party, it'll be perfect. And I will say yes again.
I don't want to do it again tomorrow. You know, I just did it. Here, now. I mean, almost.
Griffin, I just don't see what the big deal is. Like, you just got your proposal, and then me and my followers can get mine.
Well, I guess the big deal is that I don't want our proposal to be some photo op for your social media.
Actually ended up getting into another relationship with a woman named Christine. Jennifer obviously was not happy about this, and so she ended up coming up with this fake story. After this alleged rape happened, she received a letter in the mail which contained a bullet in it, and she said that this came from Daniel's new girlfriend, Christine. She also alleged that she got another letter from Christine which basically said, "You're a dead person walking," and Jennifer claims that she threw it out because she didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, it's very questionable.
Okay, now this is going to sound bad, but it's not as bad as it seems, okay? But I learned later that I had this problem with anger, but I don't have that problem no more. Back in Texas, these cops said that I lit this shed on fire.
What, you were arrested for arson?
Yeah, but nobody got hurt. It was no big deal.
Hey! Diana! Hey! That was a vampire. Yes, yeah. What was he doing in the library? I don't know any more than you do. But he talked to you. Yeah, he read my work. It's not a big deal.
It's just an update to the trust document. There's a new file on there. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. The sentence
Not a big deal.
gave me temporary. I changed the permanent authority.
I can't just change the trusts without their approval.
I would be honored to testify. I'm very proud of that article.
Good. Can we send a car for you? Where are you?
I can't right now.
Why? Doctor, we need you now.
Actually, I'm in rehab. Although, to be clear, I am not an alcoholic.
Okay.
But my wife disagrees.
Well, how about we swing by, pick you up so you can give your testimony, and then we'll drop you back off.
Oh.
How long do I have before court?
Well, we're headed there right now. Dr. Watley, we are so impressed with your insights into racial disparity.
I have
research.
this really bad taste in my mouth. Could we make a stop up ahead so I can get a pack of gum? It'll only take a minute.
Do you have any idea what it means to be on a team?
Means you do not make your own decisions, and do whatever the fuck you want whenever you want. Whatever the fuck you want whenever.
Set up where I could have just said, I decided, right? Why would I set up a structure where I had the ability to make the final decision?
The way people treat each other. Do you know what I mean? How to stop. And taking mine.
God, you don't even see why this is wrong.
Liz, this law firm has to update itself or be swamped by the future. People are drawn to strength, and this makes us strong.
We will lose clients.
We've already drawn clients who have heard the promo for it. Just give it a chance, Liz. Liz, maybe it's an embarrassment, maybe. No harm, no foul.
You can't just make decisions by fiat. This is not you. This is we. This whole law firm is always we.
Ubuntu. I am because we are.
All right. This is how it works. You have an idea? Any idea? You want to scratch your ass? We talk. We discuss. We agree. And then you can move forward. Not before. You need to stop with this better to ask forgiveness than permission bullshit. Do you understand? Get out of my office.
First reaction when somebody does something that doesn't make sense to us?
I can't imagine who the fuck.
Yes, and yell at them in a certain way. Do you know what that way is? Some sort of control. It's blame.
Not to blame, to complain, to punish, to gossip. But our supreme game in this chair is to judge.
Why doesn't it just leave it where it is? It's so illogical.
I said you please just. I said you please just. I said you please just. I said you please just.
How do we explain behaviors? When we see somebody do something that we really just don't like, and we label them, maybe they're stubborn. Asking questions is one of the best ways to explain behavior.
Why would you even touch that? It is not yours.
What's our first reaction when somebody does something that doesn't make sense to us?
I can't imagine who the fuck.
Yes, and yell at them in a certain way. Do you know what that way is? Some sort of control. It's blame.
In this chair, we love to blame, to complain, to punish, to gossip. But our supreme game in this chair is to judge.
I can't imagine who the fuck.
Somehow, we human beings, everybody, have the idea that blame solves things. I mean, think about it. I had experience one time where two people, it was Christmas, and they were traveling a couple were traveling to see a family, and they pulled off the road to call me because they were blaming each other about who didn't put gas in the car.
20270 at 6:29 p.m. November 15th.
This is the third time that the micro SD card has been removed from the dash cam. The first few times I thought it may have popped out, because it's very tiny, and I thought maybe somebody went over a bump and it ejected. But this time I taped it in. So obviously somebody's been purposely removing it for whatever reason, because they don't want to be tracked, because they think somebody's watching them, because they don't want people to know where they go or something like that. Put the card back. You do not want the dash cam on when you're driving. Unplug it from the cigarette lighter. There is no internal battery. We have it up for insurance purposes. I can't imagine who the fuck would take the card out 3 times, but it's not coincidence or accident anymore.
How many additional memory cards do you generally have in your possession? Wouldn't it be a simpler solution to just replace the missing card and post a polite note inquiring as to any reason someone may have removed the previous ones, explaining the insurance function?
Guys, just go get gas. Because if you're blaming does not solve problems, but we do it. And
the message is about what behaviors and attitudes we bring into the world in every moment. The jackal chairs to attack. And in fact, this chair here is the chair where we misbehave the most to judge.
Obviously, somebody's been purposely removing it for whatever reason, because they don't want to be tracked, because they think somebody's watching them, because they don't want people to know where they go or something like that.
Hold your horses. Count to 10. Take a deep breath. Don't jump to conclusion.
Asked me why I had removed the memory card, you would have discovered you and I both had the same intentions, which is to obtain driving data insurance and safety. I will explain. I had angled the dash cam in such that it could catch a reflection of the speed odometer on the windshield during the late hours that Tyler was driving to various nightclubs. Instead of giving me the respect of asking why I might have taken the card, you chose the negative narrative of me that is your go-to-default perspective for all my behaviors and actions. Crazy, paranoid troublemaking.
Henry is insinuating I must be suffering from delusional paranoia. The phrase "because they think someone is watching him" is very clearly implying that a mental illness is the only explanation for such behavior in Henry's opinion.
Crazy, paranoid troublemaking.
So we also see a moment where Brian is asked if Gabby is taking any medication, and he actually calls Gabby crazy and laughs it off like a joke before answering.
Dr. Heisman says video shows signs of narcissism that led to an abusive relationship with Gabby, and it's now on display for the world to see.
To jokingly call her crazy is gaslighting, and is flat-out dismissiveness of the seriousness of what she was feeling, and it's abusive.
This is a social media posting where Henry refers to Robert, his ex, as being crazy.
And the message is about what behaviors and attitudes we bring into the world in every moment. The jackal chairs to attack. And in fact, this chair here is the chair where we misbehave the most to judge.
Obviously, somebody's been purposely removing it for whatever reason, because they don't want to be tracked, because they think somebody's watching them, because they don't want people to know where they go or something like that.
Hold your horses. Count to 10. Take a deep breath. Don't jump to conclusion.
Asked me why I had removed the memory card, you would have discovered you and I both had the same intentions, which is to obtain driving data insurance and safety. I will explain. I had angled the dash cam in such that it could catch a reflection of the speed odometer on the windshield during the late hours that Tyler was driving to various nightclubs.
Any medication, and he actually calls Gabby crazy and laughs it off.
Well, sooner or later, you're gonna have to accept what you did. you think? Do I think he believes his own story? Maybe.
They're singularly motivated to protect themselves and their reality, or their version of reality.
I mean, it's possible he's made up an alternate version of reality to protect himself from his own actions.
So when they gaslight, it's not like they're, I'm going to manipulate this person. It's not like the evil genius kind of thing. It's the fact that they have no empathy, so they don't stop to think what this kind of conduct would do to another person. They're entitled, so they feel they have the right to do it, and they're fragile, so they don't want to be sort of found out, and they want to protect what they might consider a fail or a mistake.
It all looks different to me. I don't hardly recognize it anymore. It all looks different to me. I don't hardly recognize it anymore.
You stare at the same thing for long enough and hard enough, and an entirely new image will appear.
Sounds like the definition of madness.
When we do something that's inconsistent with our view of ourselves, we have two choices. We can change our self-concept. I guess I really did something that was idiotic, didn't I? Or unconsciously, to block ourselves from the awareness that we did anything wrong. It's an unconscious mechanism that allows us to lie to ourselves in this way, because most of us see ourselves as being competent, ethical, smart, and kind, and generous.
My tuition money. My tuition money.
Effort and kind and generous. Our efforts at reducing dissonance will be to preserve that self-image. I'm a kind person. When we do something that's inconsistent with our view of ourselves, we have two choices. We can change our self-concept. I guess I really did something that was idiotic, didn't I? Or we justify to block ourselves from the awareness that we did anything wrong.
It's not me, it's you. Yeah, exactly. And I'm as good as it's possible to get.
When we do something that's inconsistent with our view of ourselves, we have two choices. We can change our self-concept. I guess I really did something that was idiotic, didn't I? Or we justify to block ourselves from the awareness that we did anything wrong. It's an unconscious mechanism that allows us to lie to ourselves in this way, because most of us see ourselves as being competent, ethical, smart, and kind, and generous. Our efforts at reducing dissonance will be to preserve that self-image. I'm a kind person. You're telling me I hurt you? Well, you must have deserved it. It's your fault. You started this. What do two little kids say when you interrupt them from beating each other up? He started it. I'm a good little kid. I'm not aggressive. I'm not a bully. Therefore, if I've just beaten up this kid on the schoolyard, it must be because he started it.
You know, I thought a lot about what you said about me sacrificing my relationship.
Oh, Beatrice, I was just upset.
And I thought you were right. It makes sense. You know? I messed up with James, messed up with you. And I thought, you know, it was time to do some self-reflection. Well, I think that's great. And then I thought, fuck that. It's not me. It's them. And if they can't handle me being me, fuck them. You know, whatever. Yeah, okay. You too.
Now, the implications of this theory are huge, huge, because they show us that our problems aren't just from bad people who justify the bad things they do. They come from good people who justify the bad things they do to preserve their belief that they're good people.
Steve, there are two types of people in this world. There are good people and there are bad people. And we are good people. You are a good person. We don't do things like this. Do you hear me?
I'm sorry.
For what? Say it.
I should have told you.
You should have told me. What else?
I should not have kept black people out of the club. I'm sorry.
No. Now I have to go find us a very
In relationships, you will sometimes see that there are certain people, nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else or some external circumstance.
So I thought about it, and I think you're even more wrong.
The third sign or symptom of emotional abuse is accusing and blaming. Does the person in your life struggle to laugh at themselves? They never apologize? That'd be ridiculous to ask them to do so.
She never uses words like sorry. I'd love to hear that. That's a word she definitely doesn't know what it means.
They have no shortcomings, and they tend to highlight your shortcomings and make you apologize when you've done nothing wrong.
Can you please just stop causing problems?
These people just tend to feel that they do everything best, and if anybody questions that or puts them down or says anything criticizing to them, they freak out. They completely lose it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You have some oh my God. You have some
No, I kept things from you to protect you. Look, if I got caught and, God forbid, you're questioned under oath, you have plausible deniability.
Jesus, Jimmy! You can excuse stabbing me in the back by making it about protecting me? Is that really supposed to justify everything?
Okay, Kim, I'm sorry, all right? It will never happen again.
That's a lie.
Well, I swear, it won't.
Look me in the eye and tell me it'll never happen again. You can't. I don't believe you. You don't believe yourself. This has to end. I cannot keep living like this.
You need 51%. That means the person with the 51% can decide everything. Person feels railroaded, not involved, not respected. Over time, particularly if they felt like they were your peer, but then gave this little concession just to make the deal happen. Okay, you could have the extra 2%. It's a massive 2%. It's huge. February 19th. I'm leaving you a new paper outside the door, so check it. It says 50-50. It's not a big deal. All we have to do is 2%. It's huge. The economics of it aren't huge. The control of it can be huge. And if you've got other shareholders and things, it may not be as big, right? But if there's two of you and it's 51-49, and the decisions are made on a majority standard, it's enormous. And you run a real risk of the other side thinking, I don't have any say here, right? And they expect it to be close to your equal, and now they're as far away from it as could be. So the risk is that your partner's going to be happy. The risk is that you don't recognize, and I hope you do, but you might not recognize what you're doing to them and like making decisions without them.
Just say something. Anything. Please, just talk to me. I don't like it to be like this between us. So now you want to talk, huh? Because I wanted to protect you and the kids. I wanted to keep you out of it. I wanted to keep you out of it. How do you think not telling me protected us? Huh? I'm sorry. I don't even know you anymore.
I'm the same person I always was. Yeah, someone who always thinks she knows better than everyone else. I wanted to tell you what was happening. Yeah, but you didn't! You didn't talk it through with me to see if there was another way out of this. It's like you didn't care what I thought or what I say. It's like I don't matter. It's like you didn't care what I thought or what I say. It's like I don't matter.
When you exercise your will over another human being, it is all about them. They don't see the other. They don't consider the world of the other.
Is the dominant group wouldn't understand that they were doing something wrong or that they were oppressing someone, that they were getting advantages that a different group wasn't, because they weren't exposed to it. They didn't have these life experiences that showed them this view of reality. While on the other hand, the oppressed group was constantly reminded of what they were lacking.
What the hell was that in there? Well, just making sure the judges are abiding by their own rules. Nothing personal.
It sure feels personal. It feels like you're trying to sabotage Franny.
When you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression.
Often happens in a relationship where one person holds power or some sort of advantage over the other person, such as with a boss or employee relationship, or when one romantic partner holds financial power over the other. Even public figures like presidents and actors have shown gaslighting behavior. Gaslighting comes in many forms. This includes forgetting that something happened or that he or she agreed to something, refusing to listen to what the other person has to say, questioning a person's sanity or memory, or making the victim request seem...
I wanted to keep you out of it. How do you think not telling me protected us? Huh? I'm sorry. I don't even know you anymore. I'm the same person I always was. Yeah, someone who always thinks she knows better than everyone else. I wanted to tell you what was happening. Yeah, but you didn't! You didn't talk it through with me to see if there was another way out of this. It's like you didn't care what I thought or what I say. It's like I don't matter. Just say something. Anything. Please, just talk to me. I don't like it to be like this between us. So now you want to talk, huh?
Oh my God, you don't even see why this is wrong.
Listen. This law firm has to update itself or be swamped by the future. People are drawn to strength. And this makes us strong.
We will lose clients.
We've already drawn clients who have heard the promo for it. Just give it a chance, Liz. Liz, maybe it's an embarrassment, maybe. No harm, no foul.
You can't just make decisions by fiat. This is not you. This is we. This whole law firm is always we.
Ubuntu. I am because we are.
All right. This is how it works. You have an idea? Any idea? You want to scratch your ass? We talk. We discuss. We agree. And then you can move forward. Not before. You need to stop with this better to ask forgiveness than permission bullshit. Do you understand?